Monkey and ZC here, and today we are remaking the Suicide Squad dress. Y'all saw in the Hot Topic haul and Torrid haul that I purchased this dress. Well, I remade it to be more screen accurate. Yay! So, yeah, let's go. As you can see, this is what the dress looked like when I purchased it. Looks very nice, very pretty, very plus size friendly, but I wanted to go bolder and go ahead and remake it to where it's more screen accurate. That, and on the sides, I noticed that it was very itchy whenever I wore it, so by making it a backless dress, that makes that problem disappear, technically. Alright, step one is to put a pin of some sort or a mark or something where it needs to end for you. For me, it was like right before the seam, right where I'm pointing at. And I wanted to make sure it was even on both sides, so I was playing with that for a little bit. But go ahead and mark both sides, that way you know exactly where you're going to be pinning it. And I went ahead and pinned where it needs to go in the back. That way I can just curve right down when I go to cut it. So I made sure to pick the perfect spot. It might be easier to have a friend help you with this part, but I was able to reach back there. Oh boy. Alright, now we're going to go on to actually cutting where it is. And the way I did this is that I went at I don't know what degree angle that is, to be honest. But you'll see the angle that I cut in. All I'm doing right now is just trying to make sure that the dress is nice and straight, because we're going to cut both sides at the same time. The way it's completely symmetrical. And since I have the pins there, I'll have an idea of a direction where to go. I sped this up a little bit, because this fabric is very hard to cut through, so you can imagine the issues I had, but get a decent pair of strong scissors when you go to do this, because of sequins, it's hard to cut. And I'm cutting in an angle. You'll see the way that I cut. See, there we go. It's kind of like down and then that way, because once you go to hem it, it'll kind of curve on its own in a way, and I'm just making sure to do this really slow so I can make sure it's perfectly even. And then once I get that completely cut off, I'm going to go ahead and cut off the straps. It's the easiest way to do this, so it's also released. And there you go. You're already partly done with this dress. Imagine that. Now I'm just going to go through and pin it to where it's hemmed. So I'm going to roll it inside. I would suggest doing it twice if you can. If not, that's fine. As you can see, I'm just rolling it to where that way the actual, what's that thing called? The thing that helps protect you from fabric. Liner. Oh my goodness gracious alive. I can't think of anything. I'm in con crunch right now on another project, so it's like, ah! Anyway. So go ahead and pin all the way around, because you're going to go ahead and hem this. It's best to go ahead and get that done, because our next steps, you're going to need that done. So go ahead and hem what you just cut. That way you don't also lose any more sequins. I suggest using clear a thread if you can, if you have any. That would be your best bet. Trust me, you're going to need it a lot for this project. Now after you hemmed it with the zigzag stitch, go ahead and put it on a mannequin or something that stands up. And like I said, Aries Cat has a perfect tutorial for y'all if you need to learn how to use a mannequin, or make one of yourself. But you're going to basically pinch this fabric and then hand sew it. And right here I'm using clear thread once again, because like I said, that's your best bet. But you want to pinch it and kind of ruffle it in a way, because she has that on the front of her dress where it's kind of pinched and bunched up right there. And this is going to create the perfect effect that you need, but this part I would highly suggest you hand sew. And it does take a very good minute, because you have a lot that you're going through. And I was a little redundant and kept doing it over and over again, only because I'm not great at hand sewing. So this is the result. And once you are finished with that, we're going to make the edges. And what I did here is I have black and gold fringes. And I was able to pick this up at Joann's decently cheap. And what I did is I lit each end on fire after I cut it, only because I wanted to make sure it didn't fray anywhere, which it's a good thing I did. It helped tremendously. So I suggest you do the same when it comes to that. And I sewed it on the inside. And the way that that one works is if there's supposed to be a black one there, you put it there. And then where it's just every other one. Like if it's a really, really short one, it's black, and then it's gold otherwise. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to describe it. It's very odd the way that this thing is made, but basically if you see black diamonds, you're going to, like if you see black and gold and it's a wide cut, you're gonna want to put the fringe there, because the way that the fabric is cut is it's cut like a diamond shape at the bottom. So you're gonna cut the bottom like a diamond, and then you're gonna sew some fringe to it. She technically uses this chain mesh, is technically what the whole thing's made out of, but this is more comfortable technically. So if you don't want to use chain mesh, this is your best option. So this is the cheapest option. So yeah, I just used the gold fringe and the black fringe, and after I cut the diamonds on the edge of the dress, then I went in with the fringe. That way it laid like a diamond, in a way just like her dress. It was very neat and a very tedious, long process. This process probably took me 4 or 5 hours probably, because it was a lot. And my sewing machine was mostly okay with it, but you have to go really, really slow, and you have to be careful that your machine doesn't eat the sequins like it did with me. And see, that's what it looks like when you get it done. Ain't that pretty? And like I said, you only do that to the big diamonds. The small diamonds you do black. So yeah, interesting, huh? Alright, now we're going to add the straps to the back. I got this gold, like, trim. It was actually very itchy. I wish I opted for something else, but this was the closest I had to chains. So I didn't trust chains. I trust actual stuff that's going to hold my dress up, because the last thing I need is for it to fall apart on me. So, therefore, yeah, it has 8 total. Okay, I made this little ring out of Instamorph and spray painted it gold, and it actually held up in the washer, so good to know, as long as you Mod Podge it. So I measured everything out to where it reaches the ring, and maybe a little extra, because your top straps, those are going to be semi-tightish, because it's what's going to hold up the dress. And then your bottom, either 4 or 6, but your side ones, your opposite side ones, are going to be semi-loose-ish, but not too much. And then the last 4 on the bottom, you want it to be really, really loose, because with hers, it drapes in the back. The bottom 4 does. And this is how it's all connected. It's all connected into the little ring piece she has, but I made it out of Instamorph since I didn't have it. But I was able to sew it as long as I cut it long enough to where I can fold it over for a very good long minute. But yeah, you'll see here in a second, I'll slow it down to where you can actually see what exactly I'm talking about in the back once I cut all of these pieces. This tedious pieces. I was able to get this dress done overnight though. So it is a fast project if you're dedicated. And happy cosplaying to everybody out there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Bye-bye!
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.